Nationally, around 40,000 people a year are killed on our roads, and in Indiana, it's around 900 people a year die on our roads. And so my office, our job, what we work on is to try to bring that number down.
So the crash history is the first indication that we have a safety problem. What's going to tell us what we have to fix, because to get the treatment, you have to know the problem.
So the officer enters that crash report into a system called ARES on the computer in the car, and then that goes up to a central database that we can pull from for the whole state. My dad was a police officer in Indiana, in Huntington, for 30 years or more. He entered a lot of crash reports, and he would complain about how long it takes and typing up the narrative and all the different fields. And I guess our message is that we're using that, and it's not just us, other people in state government are using that information to make decisions for multi-million-dollar projects, where we're going to invest, where we're going to make improvements.
The main two pieces of information, I would say, is the location, the long and lead value for that crash, and the injury status, like is it incapacitating, is it a fatality?
We can take every single crash that took place at that interchange and we can plot it onto a map and show, was it a left turn crash, was it a rear end, was it a right angle, how severe was it, and start to look for patterns.
I will take a look at all the location, like all aspects of that location. Was it like a side distance issue? Was there like the pavement? What's the condition of the pavement? We look if trees very close to the intersection. So when you get that street view, you really get to understand how did the crash happen and why.
We can break the crash data down by day versus night, or by rear ends, or right angles, or pedestrian involved, or buggy involved, all sorts of different ways, and then map it onto our network and see where we have a higher number of a certain type of crash.
This will raise a lot of flags, like we have a problem and we have to see what's going on before more lives are lost.
Our district traffic engineers in the 6 districts at NDOT, when they get a customer complaint that something's not safe, the first thing they do is they go to ARES and they pull down the crash data and they try to filter to that location based on that location information on that report and figure out, have there been crashes happening here? Is there a problem here? What can I do? And so they might make an improvement right then with their maintenance forces to change something, change a sign, change a marking. If it's a bigger problem, something they can't fix with maintenance, that's going to become a project where we're going to decide we're going to put in access control or a roundabout, or RCI. It's all based on that crash data, and if we don't know there's a problem, then we can't start trying to make a solution.
So the crash data basically is the starting point to talk about safety. It starts with the officer. The officer is the first person usually to get to the crash site. If that crash report is going to be more accurate, it's going to start with him or her.
If that crash doesn't have a proper location and we can't find it, we won't be able to put that onto the map and use it for our analysis. And so if you have an intersection that has a bunch of crashes that aren't properly entered or don't have a lot long, maybe we don't know that intersection has a safety problem.
The more accurate the data, just everything we do, because based on that data, becomes really easier, and then the solution we are going to suggest for that, it's going to make everything easier and everything better.
So the more accurate the data is, the more we can figure out which intersections and which segments in the state have the biggest safety problems.